Wagwan everybody, it's your boy Mr. H again. Today we're back with some more ionic and net ionic equations and the differences between the two. And after this, we'll be moving on to balancing and solving redox reactions. So for this part, when we have ionic, so the question asks, it gives us iron sulfate in aqueous form plus sodium hydroxide gives us iron hydroxide plus sodium sulfate. Okay, now we have to find the ionic equations and the net ionic equations. As I said earlier, the difference between your ionic equations and your net ionic equations, okay, is that in your net ionic equation, there is no presence of your spectator ions. They are not there, okay? Your spectator ions are absent, okay? So now, just to quickly go over this now. So we'll first find out our ionic equation. So to do that, you split everything into its respective ions. So here you have to know the standard ion states or the standard charges of the individual ions. So for sulfate, I know it's SO4 2 minus, sorry, 2 minus. Therefore, iron here is in this this is iron 2. Okay, so I know this will be Fe2 plus. Okay, plus SO4 2 minus. Now, already this equation is already balanced for us, so we don't have to balance or do anything. If you'd like, you can always do a double check, but it is balanced. So 2Na plus 1 here, and then here we'll have plus 2OH minus 1. All in all gives us now, once again, iron hydroxide in a solid state, so make sure, don't get confused about that. It's in solid state, so it is not split into its ions. So it become FeOH2 solid as it is, plus, and then Na2SO4 will become just 2Na plus 1, plus SO4 2 minus. Put this one in the brackets as well. Okay, so now we have that, and that is simply our ionic equation, and that's it. So now to find our net ionic equation, I'll put that in blue. So to find the net ionic equation, we have to cancel out all the spectator ions. Now, what are the spectator ions here? So I can see that there's Na plus 1 here, so I can remove that. Okay, I can see that there's SO4 because they're the same on the both sides. They're same on the left hand side as they are on the right hand side. So therefore, they are considered as spectator ions. They don't. You can imagine they're not involved in the reaction itself. Okay, so what am I left with? I am simply left with Fe2 plus 2OH minus 1 gets me FeOH2 solid. Okay, I hope this makes sense. Like I said, let's do a quick recap. Your ionic equation is you split everything into its ions and make sure that your initial equation or your parent equation is balanced, and you split everything into its ions except those which are in their standard states or form. So solid, liquid, or gas, you would not be splitting those three things up because they're already in their standard form. They are not split into their respective ions. So that is why I have not split up my iron hydroxide over here. In your net ionic equation, you cancel out all the spectator ions. And what are spectator ions? Like I said, they're the same on the left-hand side as they are on the right-hand side. And after you've canceled that up, whatever's remaining will be your net ionic equation. All right, I hope this makes sense. If you have any other questions or concerns, or if you'd like me to cover something else, please leave them down below in the comments, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.